Let's talk about the Izak Rankine suspension, allegedly. Alright, so I do not condone what Izak Rankine did. I do not condone any type of slurs, whether it's homophobic, racism. I do not accept any of that. But I disagree with the 4-match suspension. I believe he should get 3-week suspension, specialised training, as well as a fine, whether it's like 10 or 20k fine. AFL have shot themselves in the foot. Since the Jeremy Finlayson, where he got 3 weeks, it should have stayed at 3 weeks. And where was I during the Jack Graham? Where was I during the Reek Andrew? I was in bed because I have a brain injury that I can not really control. So, yeah, I'm pretty much in bed 24/7. Alright, so we are going to be suspending players more so for words than actions. So what I mean by actions, I'll give an example. Tom Lynch whacked Jordan Butts in the head, got 4 weeks for that dog shot, and could have ruined Jordan Butts' career, life, could have left him brain dead. Now, I know people go, oh, that's a bit of overreaction, but it's like, as someone who deals with concussions and a brain injury for pretty much nearly, for the last 5 months and potentially for the rest of my life, is what I'm frustrated a little bit about is the lack of consistency with the suspensions. Tom Lynch should have got a 12-week suspension if we're suspending players for slurs, which are words, and I do not condone it at all. But what I find hypocritical is we have Snoop Dogg playing at the grand final. 27 years ago, he brought out a song that has a homophobic slur. Obviously, he will not be playing that song, obviously, but it's like, they'd rather revenue as well. So, bit of hypocrisy. You've also got Sydney Swans with Rick Andrew, who's a AFL listed player but plays in the VFL. Sydney Swans have a major sponsor in Qatar Airways. And now, to put it lightly, they don't really like people that are, I guess, different compared to them. I'm trying to say that with the PG way. I do not know how to say it any other way. Yeah, that's just my opinion. It should be 3 weeks suspension. They should get specialised training for 6 to 12 months and a $10,000 to $20,000 fine. Now, again, I do not condone it at all. Now, obviously, I apologise if I've offended anyone, and if anyone is offended, please comment below your actual thoughts and how this has affected you. I'm trying my best not to, and I'm trying to get this, my point of view across, because I've been wanting to say it for the last 2 days, but haven't really known how to say it properly, because I've actually never done this type of video before. So I'm trying my best not to offend anyone. But let's talk about the other couple of suspensions. Ollie suspension, I think, is a bit ridiculous. At the same time, I know they're trying to stamp that action out, and I just find it consistently frustrating and annoying that the MRO are inconsistent with all the suspensions that have been happening. Now, I'm a Cats fan, but if we're suspending players like Ollie Wines, who pushed round 22 against Essendon, Max Holmes pushed one of the Essendon players and he nearly went to the fence. Actually, he went to the fence. So where was his suspension, if that makes sense? It's just annoying. And the Shannon Neale, I haven't found any evidence whatsoever to why he got suspended. I mean, it was a bump to the chest, shoulder area, but I believe he didn't get him in the head. Anyways, it is what it is. Izak Rankine, though, an open palm to the head of Mark O'Connor. Don't think he got a fine. Didn't get really anything. He was definitely shafted by the umpires that day. Probably deserved 5 free kicks. But thanks so much for watching the video. I know it's a different one. I'm trying to educate myself a little bit more, but it's kind of hard because I'm spending pretty much 24/7 in bed and in so much pain. I'm actually in really amount of pain right now. It's insane. Anyways, thanks so much for watching the video. Leave your thoughts below. Peace.